Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen Fleet Week and Fleet Battles with the UEE Navy. There is a 3.9.1 e-patch on the PTU which focuses on fixing some issues that the UEE Navy have had so far during Fleet Week. At the moment you're able to steal F8 Lightnings and F7A Hornets from the actual Navy fleet that's flying around, as long as you dispose of the pilots, and then you can sort of like steer the Javelin and Idris into the ground of like a planet and block them potentially, and then basically destroy components of them and shoot those capital ships. And if you destroy some of the certain components, the ships will actually explode. And the Navy fleet doesn't really fight back much at the moment. This is about to change when that PTU patch goes from PTU to live. The UEE Navy fleet is prepared to fight back with a host of fixes. Fleet Week ships should now correctly fire at hostiles when inside green zones, the armistice zones. They fixed multiple issues with the Javelin and Idris that were causing extra damage to the fleet and those ships when attacked. They've increased the health of some components and items attached to those Javelin and Idris, and they fixed an issue that allowed players to get in and steal NPC F8s and F7A ships. These updates might make for some really cool looking battles if you want to engage that Navy fleet, because they actually shoot back properly now, and it's a cool looking affair. But preventing you from stealing ships and making the capital ships pretty much invincible does take away from a bit of that fun that I had messing around with them. That said, I do welcome the new additions there as well, so it's a mixed bag. I do like new stuff though. There were a couple of other fleet updates too. The Invictus fleet should now consistently spawn at their intended destinations. They've increased Fleet Week's mission timer from 15 minutes to 30 minutes, and they've fixed an issue causing Javelin turrets to scale larger than intended. They have also had some other little tweaks and fixes in that PTU. They fixed some Viz area issues with the Cutlass variants that were allowing players to see into the cockpit while standing at the back of the ship. The Constellation Aquila should no longer clip into landing pads or break off components after applying a paint job or skin. They fixed issues with the Cutlass Blue flight controller, so it should now have its intended rotational values, overheat properly, and also have the proper amount of afterburner multiplier. Paints attached to the Constellation Aquila should now correctly display on the ship. The Freelancer Dur should no longer lose maneuverability at 50% fuel. They fixed some incorrect quantum travel fuel tank capacities on the Pisces, Terrapin and 315P, and they fixed a client crash and a server crash as well. Also, CIG's Proxus said the patch notes won't cover server-side or back-end service fixes in great detail. That being said, the teams have been working non-stop to help bring greater stability to the live environment. So there are other back-end updates and stability updates and hopefully improvements to the servers that are being worked on currently as well. That PTU patch could go live anytime. Also on the 28th of May, it's going to change over from being an Aegis Day to the MISC and Consolidated Outlands, Argo and Crusader Day. So that will be at 7 PM UTC, that change. All the Idris and Javelins are already sold out already. If you were trying to get one of those, then you'll have to wait until they next sell them again, it seems. We then got Drake on the 30th with their sort of like slightly off-site defense con, but the free flight is not ending until the 2nd of June now because of those server problems they had with 3.9.1's deployments. A quick little interesting dev response as well. There was a Spectrum thread, devs on Reddit, ? Hey guys, do you look at memes and trends on Reddit? Fuller CIG responded, hi there, I read Spectrum and Reddit multiple times a day, sometimes even forwarding posts directly to my work email to chase up in the morning, be that with our embedded QA or to chat about with the others in my team or to raise with others I know might be working on said things. I want to make another point, all devs have their own methods and channels we might feel more comfortable to interact through. Personally, I very rarely respond directly to posts on either platform, as it is very common that although I may very well have an opinion or some thoughts on the discussion or questions being asked, I'm often not the authority on the given subjects. As a dev, I'm well aware that my actions, writings and musings are going to carry much more weight, as every post I make has official connotations. Therefore, my comments need to be well considered and right if I'm going to voice them at all. As you can imagine, it can be quite wrong and unhelpful for someone who doesn't know the inner workings news or current thinking of a thing to hypothesize or speculate on it when their word could be taken as gospel. So for me, I feel generally it's best all round to say nothing unless I know. My point and the real takeaway here is that there is no official mantra on where we should interact with the community. Many of us just do a lot more watching, reading and listening, and we don't all necessarily interact in the same ways or via the same channels. So I actually really like that. I like the fact that some devs get on Spectrum and Reddit and Twitter and that sort of stuff and answer questions regularly, but there's no mandate for them to do that or to not do that, which is pretty cool as well. They seem to have a little bit of a free hand, although they are aware, at least this dev was aware, that if he posts anything then it has official connotations and they don't want to misspeak where possible, because even if they were just giving an opinion, it could be taken as this is fact, this dev said this, bam, that means this. But I hope you found that a bit interesting. I'll chuck all the links down below so you can look through that. I'm interested to know what you think of 3.9.1's proposed changes with the sort of like defending the fleet and making them unable to have those ships stolen, stuff like that. Do you think that's sort of like taking away from the fun? Do you think, oh, they're actually adding the fleet actually fighting back now? Do you go, well, it wasn't intended for these ships to be stolen in the first place and we can still see them? What's your thoughts on that? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. In addition to my May monthly giveaway for an arrow, during Fleet Week, I'm also giving away a Cutlass Blue with Star Citizen game package that Cloud Imperium Games have kindly given me for that very purpose. To be in for a chance of winning that, just comment on this video or any made during Fleet Week 2020 on my channel. I would love it if you share this video around, as it really does help me, as does support through the YouTube join button or Patreon for people that want to go further. Also, I'm a shill for NordVPN, which I recommend for added internet privacy and security. Also, if you're looking for a gaming PC, instead consider Shadow. They provide cloud gaming PCs that leverage the power of the internet and an affordable monthly subscription instead of having to maintain your own rig. Use the code BoredGamer for discounts, but you can find links to everything down below.